I apologize for the low-tech nature of this presentation, but today we're what I consider the center of the universe of great Pennsylvania history in Dunbar, Pennsylvania. What you're looking at is the Pennsylvania Railroad pulling into the station in Dunbar around the turn of the century, judging from the train. What you're going to see in these various still shots is what they look like today. Try to do this in under 3 minutes so it's interesting to you. If we look up in the same spot, there's really nothing there anymore, including the tracks. Everything's gone. The next shot was taken right after the war, when the 716 West Penn Railway came into town, and they were bringing in the boys from the war, and everybody was there to see it. See the trolley there. And when I get you to live, you can kind of see what it looks like today. The white building in the background is that building that was in the background. There's your railroad crossing sign. You can see the trolley went through there. The week after they closed the trolley in 1952, they pulled the tracks up. These tracks here are still live for the Fayette tourist train that runs between Dunbar, Uniontown, Fairchance every weekend. Now, the main hotel in town was the beautiful Central Hotel. Like most turn of the century places, it had a lot of ornateness to it. This stood until just this year, when it was in such bad shape that it was finally razed. Nobody could save it. This is where it used to sit. Most banks in town, you know, most towns had some prominent banks, and those were usually the richest people in town. Dunbar was no exception. And they usually had the First National Bank. We're looking up Connellsville Street at the First National Bank. In the background is the George Swearengen building, which was the prominent grocer and dry goods store in the area. The 716 trolley used to come down this street. You can see the tracks in this picture. Fortunately, this pretty much looks like it did back then. Nice building. Dentist has been in that place for a long time. It's nice that it has remained occupied. I'm going to come over to the tracks again, because this is where the B&O station, where this parking lot is, where the B&O station was. I don't have a still picture of it, but this used to be two sets of tracks, and there was a whole bunch of buildings right here. You know, probably a little grocer or restaurant or something while people were waiting. In, I believe it was 1902, the George Swearengen building was constructed. As I say, it was a prominent dry goods store. Stop for a moment here. You can see what it looked like at the time. It actually had its own pump. You can see the windmill sticking out of the top. That building is still here today, although unoccupied. Could be an amazing couple sets of shops. Maybe be a bike shop or a little ice cream parlor, and then they'd have rentals in the top. I do have a video of the inside of this. I'm gonna put it back on. I called it The Ghost of George Swearengen. Okay, every town had to have a post office, and Dunbar was no exception. Sorry about the mess here. Okay. This was the Dunbar post office. It remained so probably until the 80s, and then was abandoned for a while. That, of course, became the infamous Dunbar Historical Society. As I said, you can come here every Saturday between May and end of October and take the tourist train down to the Youghiogheny River and on to Uniontown. Now finally, what wasn't here all this time was an amazing project celebrating the coal and coke heritage of this area. Absolutely authentic coke oven that you saw in various stages of construction on some of my other YouTubes. But this is the completed product, and it is, as they say in car parts circles, made of new old stock, or NOS materials, unearthed from actual coke ovens in Fayette County. But it's a beautiful piece of work. There's constantly projects going on in this town. It's just off of Route 119, very handy to Ohio Pile, Uniontown, Connellsville, and it's about maybe 50 miles from Pittsburgh. But come out and visit sometime.